Welcome to the Superficial Intelligence Podcast. I'm joined by, these guys, Chris and Jeremy. We're missing Kush this week, but we'll see him again soon. Today we're talking about the PlayStation Portal. Jeremy got a few minutes to play around with it, Chris as well, just for a moment.
It reminds me of the Switch, my favorite console.
Yeah.
It's cool. I think it's neat. I like the idea of, especially if you're in a multi-person household, having to, or being able to give up the TV and go play with it. And it seems like it's got a good, it's got a good connection. I'm curious how well it works on, maybe less good Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I did recently upgrade my Wi-Fi to kind of make the experience better whenever I'm outside the home. So I used to have the T-Mobile kind of like home Wi-Fi hotspot, and it was god awful. I mean, it was only maybe at best 50 down and like 1 up, right? And it would be fine if you're playing in the house, and I guess that's because it's a local connection, right? So it doesn't really matter how good your Wi-Fi is as long as you're playing in the home. But when you go outside the home, that upload, speed matters, right? So I was able to play, with pretty low latency, things like Madden. I was even able to play some online games like Destiny. I've been playing Destiny 2 on the Portal, and it's been pretty smooth as long as I've been in the house. So I recently upgraded the Wi-Fi, and yesterday I went down to my parents', which is like, a few miles away or so. And I played some Helldivers too, and it was a pretty stable connection,
Oh, so it does let you play outside the house as well, as long as you're on internet connection.
You do have to kind of configure the settings a bit, and I'll show those settings in post, but you have to configure the settings to make sure that your PlayStation 5 is available via the internet on remote play. But once you set everything up, it's pretty good. And then there's a few settings that we can talk about as well that you have to configure to make sure that the PlayStation isn't trying to output like 4K or something higher than 1080 while you're away, because if so, you'll get a bit more, more latency and stuff.
Because the most this can do is 1080.
Right. 1080, 60.
1060.
And you have to upload all that data just for this to download it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from what I played, it was really smooth. I mean, we're on the local connection right now, just playing Helldivers on 1080p, but it was really low latency, like just absolutely playable.
Yeah. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that your PlayStation's connected over Ethernet. If your PlayStation's connected over Wi-Fi, even if you are playing on your local network, you're going to have a bit more latency. You're going to have a bit more lag.
But now you can play your PlayStation on the toilet, and it is...
I do often play it on the toilet.
I don't doubt it.
I had to wipe it down to make sure you guys didn't get toilet fingers.
The prime example, you gotta go, but you can't stop. You can't stop the online gaming. Can't pause an online game, guys.
Right, and it feels really good. It's very ergonomic.
Yeah,
and I've held like a Switch and a Steam Deck and stuff, and this feels much. I feel lighter. It's more ergonomic. It feels good in the hand.
Yeah,
I feel like I could hold that for hours, whereas I have tried holding a Switch for hours, and eventually
it digs into your hand.
It digs into your hand, or like your pinky ends up supporting too much weight, or
and it's just going numb trying to play Super Mario.
Cramping, and I'm just like, man, I just want to jump on some mushrooms,
And they make those ergonomic controllers like for the Switch, like the bumpers for the Switch, and they're nice, but they don't compare. I mean, PlayStation has really kind of, in my opinion, been on top with the design of the PlayStation controller for a while, the DualShock controllers for a while now.
For baseline entry, I definitely agree. I actually got the Xbox, their like Elite Pro controller, and that thing is like, it's heaven to hold. I love that controller. But that's like $100 something dollar controller. Yeah, and then with that you can also like configure a bunch of things.
But I pay that just for like that.
And the back pedals are really nice, especially if you're playing games that like require like a kind of like claw grip sometimes, or in certain positions, because then you just move that to the back, and now you're always holding it in like a nice ergonomic position, and you can rebind those and change the and use them as like shift keys to also change like the configuration of the controller if you want as well for certain moments. I haven't really done that, but
Yeah.
that's probably my all-time controller. But for like baseline, like the one you get with the console controllers, the PS5 controllers.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they didn't give like any sort of like back controls or any additional controls on this thing. I mean, you got so much real estate, and a lot of people were really surprised that they didn't do that either. I wonder if they're going to come out with like another version, like a PS Portal Pro or something like that, right?
Yeah. Like even without that, it on a mobile device, like this is absolutely top tier for like control setup. Like compared to like a Switch joystick or even like a Steam Deck joystick, like this is absolutely like PS5 quality. Like you're getting a real PS5 controller on like with an attached screen.
Almost.
Yeah.
The one gripe that I have with this are the thumbsticks.
Oh yeah.
They're smaller.
They feel pretty good.
They feel all right.
I'm not used to a PS5 controller though.
Comparative to like a Switch or something, they're way better. But,
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to an actual PS5 controller, they're closer. I think one thing, they're closer to like the pedals, so that's a bit more awkward for your thumb. And then they're smaller as well.
The PS5 controller, the DualSense controller, it has a bit more resistance in the thumbsticks. So whenever I'm playing games on the Portal, I find myself kind of like going from 0 to 100 really like quickly, really easily. So like sometimes it's hard to aim in like first person shooter games because you're kind of just like really sensitive.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
You got to get one of those sniper thumbsticks. Have you seen those where it's like you got it's basically just a really tall thumbstick.
Yeah.
And it's like so you can make those really fine grained movements because it just has such a wide area now.
Yeah,
like,
maybe I should get those.
At that point, just get a mouse and keyboard.
Could you imagine someone getting in the Portal just to connect a mouse and keyboard to it? And you're just like playing on this small screen, destroying your eyes.
Oh gosh, that would be funny.
What I do really like about it is that they incorporated like the adaptive triggers.
Yeah.
And the vibrations in the controller are very much like the DualSense. You usually playing with the Xbox controller. Have you used the PS5?
Oh yeah,
controller.
I've used it with my PS5 as well. Okay. And if you're talking about like the adaptive,
PS5.
I do.
Okay.
Well, technically, it's not at my house at the moment, but I do have one.
Okay.
The adaptive. It feels a little too gimmicky. Like there's a couple games where it's been like, oh, that's kind of cool, but like I almost always, if I can, turn it off.
Yeah,
because it's like I don't really need my R2 button to be vibrating because I'm holding the bow for too long or something.
It adds immersion.
It can, but not for me.
No, not for
it doesn't. It doesn't do that for me. It's like I'm annoyed at the controller for not working the way I want it to. There was one instance where I thought the controller was broken when I first got it because it was too stiff. And I was like, oh, why is the control? And then I realized, oh, that's the adaptive controls.
Nice.
Have you played on the PS5 with the DualSense controller?
Just a little bit. I've actually experienced more DualSense with this.
Okay.
Versus like the actual PS5.
Have either of y'all played like Astro's Playroom?
No.
It's like the first thing that comes on the PS5.
Yeah, I don't play
the tutorial game.
I don't play shovelware.
It's to experience all the PS5 offer.
Honestly, we should honestly fire up Astro's Playroom. I don't even know if I still have it on my PlayStation, but we should fire it up so you can get a real sense of what PlayStation wants you to do with the DualSense control, like with the adaptive controls, because it's not everybody implements it in the way that, they anticipated that it would be. And I'll say like Astro's Playroom, like, yeah, it's kind of the bloatware that comes on the PlayStation, but it's a lot, like it feels fun to play. And there's little tiny vibrations as you're like walking around or you're interacting with something or you're walking on different terrain and you feel that terrain difference in the controller, like with the haptic feedback in the controller. I'm glad that they brought that here.
Yeah, it's something. I think it's not just like the PlayStation. Like I turn rumble and all.
You're
I
not
don't
into
like
vibrations.
I don't like my controller vibrating.
I love Rumble.
Yeah, right?
Rumbling in my hands. And I thought the
It's like
Rumble trigger was pretty neat.
Yeah.
At least when playing
It's cool.
Helldivers. I don't know if I would play it if I was like doing MLG fucking like COD stuff.
oh
Yeah.
no, you at that point you're modding your controller for a little bit like quicker clicks and stuff.
Yeah, but if I'm playing like something casual and like there's a little rumble here and there, like I can appreciate that.
Yeah. The I think basically anytime. I think it's because like maybe it's like the old Xbox, like the original Xbox controller. I had one that was just it would like rock your hands. Like it was like it was one of their third party controllers, so it was like I think someone just went ham on that Rumble design.
Yeah.
And it was like yeah, it was like a mag. It was like it's like you put that thing on the table, it's gonna break the table.
See, no, like, all right. So I get what you're saying. I don't like that level of rumble. What I like about the DualSense controller is how, like when you're using how small and how like pinpointy, if that's even a word, the vibrations are. So like when you're using an iPhone, right, and you go into the clock and you're setting the time, those little kind of ticks, those little vibrations that you get that level almost that level in the DualSense control.
I definitely get it. It's just not for me.
No, even that much. Not really.
It's just not for me.
It's almost haptic engine like that level of experience. I wouldn't say it's that far, but it's getting there.
It's getting close.
Oh yeah, and I always tried it out to see like if it would work. Like I didn't turn it off first thing, but like I know Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the one where I thought my controller was broken for a second because like the only time I pressed R2, the only time I was pressing the R2 key was when I was like firing the bow, and it was like there's like a you hold it down and then like there's a hard like stop that you have to push past.
Yeah.
But like that, there is that level of control where it's like Ghost of Tsushima can do it like that, where it's like, oh, there's like a bit of a hard click, and then it's like, and it goes.
Yeah.
But then, like another game, like I can't think of one right now, but like another game will just do like, oh, it's just harder to push generally, or like there's a lot of fine grained control, which is pretty cool.
I think No Man's Sky does it actually. They make it harder to pull as you're using the mining laser to kind of like, as you get closer to overheating your laser, it gets harder to pull. And I like that implementation though, because like you want a little bit of resistance. You don't have to look up and see how close you are to overheating. Instead, you can just keep mining. Oh, I feel it, let me just lay off for a bit and then you go back in.
Yeah.
Kind of nice.
That's one I definitely like with Breath of the Wild, played, or Tears of the Kingdom. Like the stamina bar is just like right there next to your character. And I wish more games would put UI elements like close to where you're like the center of the screen, like as like things that pop up as they're relevant.
That's interesting. I feel like that's the opposite of where game developers think that gamers want it, because they feel like gamers want to be more immersed, so they move the UI elements to the outside.
I agree, and like I can see that, and I think it's fine if I think it would be cool if there were options around that a lot more. And then there's other games
couldn't you like, so when you're setting up like the PlayStation or any console, I think at this point it asks you to kind of set your screen bounds. You know what I'm talking about?
That changes your screen size, though, doesn't it?
It doesn't change the screen size. It changes where the outer bounds of the UI elements. So if you were to make that screen size smaller, the screen size, it's poorly named, and they don't really tell you what it does.
Yeah.
But if you set that bounds further in, then I've noticed that those UI elements do come in.
Yeah, it's not exactly like the solution to customizability in UI, but it's absolutely like a choice that you could make. Pushing things closer to the center.
Yeah, I think like some games, it kind like with Helldivers, they put it all in the bottom left corner, and I think they kind of want you to not notice it so that you get that gameplay moment of like the gun clicking.
Yeah. Which I love how they implement it.
Click, and you're like, reload, run.
I got my dad to try Helldivers yesterday, and I tell you, he had like the toughest time because, he's so used to playing Earth Defense. We kind of talked about it before we started the cast. Earth Defense Force. He plays Earth Defense Force 5 right now. I think he's like super excited for 6 to come out. But in that game, you've got unlimited ammo, right? You're not running out. And this is totally the opposite. It's survival. You know, there's not as many weapons and not as many abilities, not as many airstrikes and all the good stuff. But I love that. I love survivability in games. I love that realism feel, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I really appreciate about Helldivers. This is about to turn into a Helldivers. I feel like
this is now a Helldivers podcast. So,
you guys want to jump in?
Whip it out.
Yeah.
So I think the one thing, I don't know, it sounds like you've just started playing. Have you done any of the automaton fights yet?
I haven't done any of the automaton yet.
They're definitely like a higher level. I found that the thing I wanted was the anti-material rifle, but for the one like core stratagem I wanted the most, at least at the lower levels. And once you're like in on that, like it feels like you're in Vietnam.
Yeah,
like because they have guns.
Yeah, exactly. They're robots.
They're robots.
Right? They got tanks.
They're robot socialists with guns, which means we need to kill them as managed democracy defenders. And they, unlike the bugs, when the bugs aggro on you, you can run from them.
Yeah.
They aggro on you, and there are missiles coming your way.
Oh my god! So you really gotta. I saw that you could have shields and stuff like that. So you really gotta have.
You gotta have the shields, and actually, what my friend and I found is you have to play like a really defensive, or a much more like tactical, I guess.
My dad would love that.
Style.
He likes to like sit back and snipe.
Yeah, and it's great for that. And then, but there's still like, it still plays like Helldivers as well, where it's like, and then a patrol shows up behind you, and all of a sudden you've got 500 more robots coming in behind you as well. And
I love
you still
that.
end up with that chaos. So like, and I think the way the game works is like, at the beginning of the mission, there's not that many enemies, but as that timer ticks down, there's a 40-minute timer on every mission that you're doing. And as that timer takes down, these enemies start spawning in more and more aggressively.
Okay.
So you have like less time to react. So you're kind of encouraged to complete objectives, but then there's side objectives that you have to search around the map for, so that you can get more resources. And so that encourages you to stay longer, so that you're getting more into that later time, and you kind of end up making these very interesting decisions of, okay, we've got 15 minutes left, and we've got to get to that. There's a side objective that's over there, but the extraction points on the entire opposite side of the map. It's like, all right, you know what? We're gonna do it.
Nice.
And then we
then you run out of time.
and then you run out of time. I believe if you start the extraction like as long as you start the extraction before the last minute or before the last second, even.
Oh, okay.
Because I believe that'll let you you go as long as you want.
Okay. Interesting.
Or until the
and the extraction timer runs out.
So once you call an extraction, there's a 2-minute timer to get you out. And of course, that's when all the enemies start spawning and coming at you. Of course.
So here's what I was talking about earlier with like the different stratagems. You could get different weapons.
Yeah.
And not just weapons, but different orbital strikes.
Can you call these in at any time?
Yeah, they're on like a timer though. They got like,
you can see the cooldown time down there. So it's like once you call it in, you've got to wait a bit. And there are, for like the eagle strikes, I know there's a 50% like cooldown.
Oh, that's only 15 seconds.
So the eagles work a bit differently in that you get like 2 calls out of one. Or out of like one usage. So like basically you can call it twice and then it has to go back and reload.
Okay.
Is the idea. So, or you can call it once and then tell it to go resupply if you're not going to need it again in a soon. So there's actually a longer secondary cooldown.
This Eagle cluster bomb looks insane.
The cluster bomb's good. I actually just like the basic airstrike a lot because it's basically a grouping of orbital strikes. And you
talking about this strafing run?
No, this airstrike. The Eagle airstrike. Yeah. So it's basically just like 5-6 strikes, and you just toss it in front of you as a wave of bugs comes at you. And
So what's the difference between that and the cluster? The cluster just seems wider.
The cluster, I think, yeah. So it's the power of the individual explosions or the damage of the individual explosions.
You
so
get 4 uses in this one, only 2 uses in the airstrike.
Again, it's the individual strike's power. So like if an enemy has like a high armor value, they may just tank the entire an entire like strafing run. Versus like the airstrike's always going to do damage. It just may not be as effective against larger groups, but it's going to be more effective against like smaller but tankier groups. Because like in starting in like challenging, there are enemies that are basically just covered in armor.
Okay, I see. So the cluster is efficient at clearing smaller targets.
Yeah, exactly. So that's similar with like the anti-personnel minefield as well, which is one I like.
This is what I want. I want this jump.
Yeah, did you see that enemy actually there in the
charger?
That charger? Yeah, those things are tanky as all get out.
Oh my god! And they're like one hit too. Like I got charged by one of them, got thrown on the other side of the world, and died.
Yeah, they're beefy, and they do not die as easily as they did in the first game either. Oh, there was that big Titan bug.
Oh, okay.
It's a big boy.
Yeah, so that is
an atomic bomb.
It's a 500 kilogram bomb.
So one thing I cannot ever see myself doing. I don't really see the point of this. Where is this? Where's this thing? No. Oh yes, the recoilless rifle. You got to have 2 people to use it. What blueberry am I gonna get to get on this gun with me?
So
and shoot it.
If you want the teamwork, or if you have someone on voice, this is obviously when it's best. I've had. In the original game, I think it was easier because you had that top-down perspective, so you could always see when someone was like asking for ammo. In this game, in both games, you can actually wear the backpack yourself. It's just a slower reload time. So rather than having to call in, and you can use ammo packs to reload those missiles. So unlike with the expendable rockets, which is actually probably the better option to go with most of the time, especially if you're playing solo or just with
the
randoms.
supply pack that you were talking about.
Yeah, well, see, those are supply packs. That's a supply backpack, so that's like.
Can you use the supplies from the backpack yourself, or is it just for teammates?
You can use it yourself. Okay. It's just slower. So the recommended way is to do it with a teammate. Is have a teammate come and like reload you because they can just pop it in there and it's like reloaded.
Oh, you're talking about for that specific gun.
This is just recoilless. Okay. The recoilless rifle. So the recoilless rifle can be good, and it is good in a sense because you don't have to call in a strike to have like 5 rockets available to you. So if you want your friend wearing the backpack, that works. Or if you want to wear the backpack yourself, you'll just reload. You have to reload yourself, and it's slower.
Dude, for real, I want to see these in action.
Yeah, I haven't bought anything yet because I'm saving my money until I get to level 10, so I can just like come through and just like buy all the things I want. I want this guard dog. I saw someone using this. It's like, oh yes, please give me a guard dog.
The you do end up getting a good bit of credits, especially as you level up slower later on. But the other one that's good is just the Gatling sentries, or any of the sentries have like value. I think I'd recommend not going with the mortar sentry due to its friendly fire potential, but oh yeah, and the other cool thing here is like these planets I'm pretty sure are auto generated. They have a lot of like features, like see how it's like hexagon, procedurally generated. So I think they're procedurally generated, and like you're seeing somewhat real representations of the planet as you fly over it.
Okay.
At least that's what it looks like to me. And then the other thing is when you're in an area with like a bunch of other players, like those ships that you see off in space are, I believe, related. Looks like you've joined another player's game.
You joined a squad.
Oh, mission starting soon. Mission starting.
Just happened.
Gotta run. Like, why can't I sprint in here?
You hop into your pod.
Yep.
Yeah, and another cool feature that is in the original game, but I think it's a bit bugged right now, is the SOS. So one of the stratagems you can call down in a mission is like if you're like losing real bad and you've got extra space in your squad, you can do an SOS call, and that'll allow other players to basically matchmake into your game.
Oh, that's
So that's cool with being able to just, fill out a squad if you want at some point.
I like how they implemented that as like a gameplay feature, but it's also just matchmaking happening at the same time.
Exactly. And it lets you
Seamless
opt in.
matchmaking.
Yeah.
It lets you opt in, of course, to it. Though I think there is I think your lobby is open as long as you have started a mission but haven't gotten into or haven't actually like launched like this. Let's see how this particular planet has been. Oh yeah. So the other thing is when you're looking at the galactic map, and we can jump back to that in a little bit. There's essentially a meta game going on all at the same time where you're trying to, like it says, oh, we're trying to push the Terminids back. Mm-hmm. That's a very literal thing that's happening in the game. Mm-hmm. Is that when you complete a mission, you're contributing to like the score, the overall player score. So every time you're out here doing like a harder mission, you're contributing more to the cause, and eventually a planet will be marked as captured or liberated. And the goal is to push all the way to their home system.
Whoa there.
And that's something that's was interesting in the original game is as you got further in, there were less like easier missions and the harder missions became a lot more common. So I don't think, it doesn't look like they did that with this game, but I'd expect that once you get to the home world, it'll be an event. Right. Like there'll be some sort of event going on, or there'll be special mission types that aren't normally available.
That's pretty cool. It's nice when a game company like keeps the game going in some kind of way, whether it be metagame or whatever.
Yeah, and so this will be like and the other thing is this is a live service game, I think, ultimately. So there is definitely a chance for it to continue growing. Like I was saying earlier. I don't know if it was on the pod, but the original game also had vehicles, and I really want them to add that into this game because that would be super cool. Like, and I'm talking like tanks where it takes like 2 players, one on the gun and one driving, and then there's like machine guns on the side for the other players.
Get the Warthogs from Halo.
Yeah, no, I think they could. They could do a car like that. They had mechs where the mechs had chain guns going. Sick. Yeah, it was really cool, and I hope they can get to that point with this game because that would be, I think, one of the top features, especially with how many just large bugs they are. They'd have to reorganize the difficulty settings if they put those in. Right. But it'd be really cool if those became available. And then the other thing was there's a third faction in the original game.
Oh god.
Besides the humans and the bugs?
Well, so no, there's currently 3 factions in this game, 3 enemy factions. I'm talking about there are 3 enemy factions in the original game. In this game, there's only 2 enemy factions. So there's the robots and then the bugs as your enemy factions. And then the original game, there was a third faction that were kind of like... the reason they probably didn't get included originally is for a couple of reasons. One, they're kind of... The robots are actually cyborgs, mm-hmm. And then the third faction, the blue faction in the original game were actual robots with like psionic or some sort of like electric. They had like very futuristic abilities, like the ability to deploy like force field walls that would block players off from being able to get to each other. That's pretty cool. But a lot of their abilities were so long ranged, I feel like they wouldn't work or they'd be harder to work out in
in third person.
In a third person game. Because it's that difference between like top down versus third person where you have like 360 versus just 180 degrees to work with.
It's looking pretty smooth with all this stuff going on too, like smoke and explosions and. I mean, the PS5 is processing it just still.
Yeah, and but it's incredibly smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of remote play on like my like Xbox to laptop or like PC to laptop, and that's it hasn't been very good. It's not very
not very smooth.
I feel like they've done something specific with the portal as well. It's almost like the PlayStation 5 is detecting the portal and then enhancing the connection somewhat or something in some way, because the portal can run 1080 60, but remote play runs 720.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's like a different like compression. They do like maybe they're able to do a more aggressive compression because they know like the down to the hardware specs.
Yeah, it's all theirs.
True.
It's all theirs.
And
so.
remote play is trying to support every device that could possibly like install the app.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
So, and they may not, that app or device may not have the same compression algorithms available by default.
Yeah, and when I'm playing like something like remote play or like streaming from the cloud to like a PC, like it's playable, definitely, but I can't really play like an FPS or anything competitive.
Cloud, I've not had very good experiences with cloud services, but Steam has a local streaming. It's still not like, I don't think it's this smooth.
Like big picture with the Steam Link or something?
Well, yeah, Steam, it's just remote play. It doesn't involve big picture. As long as you have your like PC that can actually run the game.
Yeah.
You can have another PC or you can stream that to another computer.
Have you had any luck with that?
I've used it a little bit for smaller games. I haven't tried any really big games because, I mean, I don't, it's like,
exactly.
It's like I don't have much reason to be playing a bigger game that's not at my PC most of the time. So it's like,
I just have the dream of streaming from my gaming PC in the office to my 4K, like 120 hertz screen in the living room and having no latency, just playing on an Xbox controller.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That is not the case yet.
Yeah.
I can, like, the most...
Oh! Great. One of my teammates just blew me up.
Well, you got to pay attention to where those orbital strikes are coming in, man.
Pay attention? No, he shot a grenade or something.
It looked like an orbital strike. Grenades don't blow you up.
Why would he orbital strike us? Like,
so you just get...
I was right beside him.
It's like, you know what you do? The bugs are always running at you. So
there were no bugs beside me just then.
Yeah, they're always coming at you. So you toss the orbital strike on the ground at your feet, and then you run the other way. And by the time the orbital strike hits, the bugs are already there.
But it's my fault that he doesn't know how to throw his orbital strike.
It's your fault that you didn't notice the orbital strike at your feet.
This is victim blaming.
Yeah, honestly.
This is an expected casualty of the war,
That's how you play this game. You just drop bombs on your teammates.
I just drop a precision strike on him, huh?
If you played some other Arrowhead,
machine gun.
If you played some other Arrowhead games, the friendly fire is definitely part of a feature.
Part of the experience.
It's a feature. It's very much intended to be chaotic, and some of that chaos will involve getting nuked by someone, especially because there's no voice comms here, so you're not saying,
hey. There he is, I'm just muted.
Yeah, but you aren't guaranteed to have it when you're playing with randoms, right? So, you can't be like, oh shoot, grenade, I just tossed a grenade. That's one I've killed my friend a couple times on accident, because
I've had some people do that to me on purpose. Like, someone straight up blew me up right as we were extracting so they could take my supplies, and then they got on the ship. And I'm like, bro, that's
messed up.
That's messy.
Yeah, that's why I don't like.
That's when I block.
I don't always like playing with randoms in this game.
I'm like, way to get blocked, bro.
Yeah, but it's a whatever, it happens. Oh, this guy's got the supply pack. But the ability to kill your friends is a feature, very much so.
It's a feature sometimes.
They even talk about it in the tutorial.
I mean, I do like the fact that there's friendly fire. It adds to the realism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and something I think I don't remember it in the previous game was like the like your leg breaking, like your body parts can break in this game, and that'll cause like you to walk slower, your aim to be worse. I don't think they implemented that in the original one. Have you gone to any of the snow planets yet?
Yeah, Heath. or Heath,
I
right?
mean so again, like these plants will change, I think, over
And they
time.
change like kind of
But
the reload time or like
the
regen time on some things.
yeah, so snow makes you walk slower. And there are things on like tree planets like this, like bushes and brambles that can slow you down. But you have to be aware of your environment. There's also the bug eggs that will just explode at your feet.
Hmm.
On the robot planets, there's a large group of, or there's a lot of times there's mines surrounding their bases, like just straight up anti-personnel mines.
Is this the extraction sequence now?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, extraction is available, so they've completed the mission. Are you? Oh, you are extracting, right?
Hmm.
I see. Okay.
Nice.
There's
That's that timer up there at the
it's over
top.
there.
Well, that's cool that they have so many different environments. Because I was about to say, like, this is real lush and good looking right now.
Hmm.
No,
So,
I think the cool ones, or another cool one is some of the robot planets are they're kind of like jungly.
Mm.
And so it provides a lot of cover for all the
Robot
bullets that
jungle.
come, all the bullets that end up coming your way, and I think with robots, the other thing that becomes a lot more common is smoke,
Yeah.
because they I think have much more aggressive and able to or AI that's able to see you from further away. I think
Jesus.
it felt like that anyway.
Yeah.
And so we ended up playing a lot more cautious of a game than we did playing with bugs. So yeah, we've still got
There's so much happening.
all the explosions going on, and the game only gets better the more people you have in it, and it it is very much intended for you to have like a full group of four. I know in the original game, like you could maybe beat up to like a hard mission by yourself if you were really good, but not most people wouldn't be able to do that. So and it really requires having like everybody, because the fundamental thing is your cooldowns.
Yeah.
So like you can only have so many explosives by yourself or available at any time, but once you have a group of people, that number goes up.
Strategy right here.
And so you get more options. Watch out, you got something come next to you. Don't want to get hit. Yeah, even the resupplies can kill you
Yep.
if you're
I
sitting.
learned that
under
the
them.
hard way.
And it was a lot. That's another difference between the third person and the top down. Is in third person, it's a lot easier to like notice that you are sitting on top of, or that you're going to get hit by a resupply, because
yeah.
right there. But with top down, it's like, oh, maybe you've lost track of exactly which person you are, or whatever. Like, you've got the whole screen to figure out where you are,
Right.
and you all had to be on the same screen, I believe, if I remember correctly, at the same time.
Okay.
So like,
So you have to move as a group.
you had to move actually, maybe that's wrong. But either way, you had the. It was a lot easier to like not notice that you're about to get hit by a supply, or even reinforcements
Right.
getting killed by that.
I gotta check.
But it still wasn't too bad. Yeah, and so you see that plume of smoke right there. That means that a patrol spotted you and has called in reinforcements. Essentially, you can actually stop that if you catch them, or if you shoot them right before they make the call. Though with the bugs, it's a bit harder than it is with the robots, because they don't make as obvious of a signal. The robots will start shooting a flare, and the flare, there's like a little laser that goes up into the sky. So if you could shoot the guy at the bottom of the laser, they won't call on reinforcements.
Extraction complete.
And so that's Helldivers.
That's a
one
mission.
Oh wow.
And so that's a medium mission. Those are probably like the hardest that most people will be able to do alone. Because the second you go up to challenging,
It becomes challenging.
it becomes challenging. And then after challenging is hard. So yeah, challenge. The second you jump up to challenging, it starts spawning in all of the enemies that have just the top, like complete armor around their body, and you need to have explosives, and you need to be able to just saturate them with bullets, and the chargers will just chase you down. So like if it's just you, like you're constantly diving out of the way, and then it'll spawn another charger just for fun. There's no ramp up between medium and challenging. It's just like, all right, you need a group for this. Have fun.
Yeah, this is only $200.
Yeah, is it 200? I thought it was 3 or 4.
No, I think it's $199.
That is incredibly impressive.
But I'll almost definitely be buying one of these.
Yeah, so that's a first look at a close look rather at the PlayStation Portal, and check it out for $200. And
also buy Helldivers.
And also buy Helldivers. So
people playing.
$240. Helldivers is actually only $40, which is great.
It's $40 baseline. It does have the $20 like season pass because it's ultimately a live service.
But I love the fact that they did that, right? They went $40 for base and then $20 to bring it up to like a normal game price instead of the whole you start out at $60 and then charge you $100 for the.
Yeah, and I think they'll probably have for future battle passes like this. It's gonna as the game goes on.
So check it out. Check out the PlayStation Portal. Check out Helldivers 2.
And speaking of just a click away, like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Check out, see if that subscribe button glowing.
Yeah, it should be illuminating right now. Subscribe.
There you go.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Or listening.